One, two, three. Hey
guys, welcome back to Violating Community Guidelines with Brittany
and Sarah.
And Brittany's currently in Florida right now, so we have her over Zoom.
Hey, y'all, how y'all doing? I'm in swamp country.
Is it really swamp? What part of Florida?
Destin.
Oh, yeah.
There's gators.
Gators in the ocean?
I never know if, well, actually I do know this because the American education system actually succeeded in this. I know gators are in America, crocodiles are everywhere else.
Then explain zoos. But also for anyone who's watching this on YouTube, I have stuff shoved up my nose right now because I think my nose is broken. So if you're like, what is that white stuff? I'm going to the doctor later. It's a whole thing.
If you're watching, medically, Sarah's unwell, but it's going to be fixed.
So today we're going to be talking about crimes solved online. So like internet communities that have, I realize that Brittany's not actually to my right. She is on the screen in front of me, but I keep looking to my right.
You do what you got to do.
Yeah. So internet communities that have solved crimes. And we're going to talk about like internet vigilantism and like the ethics behind it, but mainly focus on the actual crimes that have been solved on the internet.
And we do want to do a little disclaimer that this is by no means all of the cases that have been solved online. How many times do we have to say this? We are not a professional research institution. We're just pointing out the stuff that's interesting and what Stanley deems interesting. Mm-hmm. So we're going to go over a couple examples of things that are actually kind of insane, just like the sheer amount of information online and what people can gather and solve. And so if we skipped over a super famous one, blame Stanley, not us.
Yeah. But we're going to talk about, can you imagine? We have 10 examples. Only 10 crimes have been solved from the internet.
That's it.
All right.
Hope you guys enjoy.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about like internet vigilantism and like what it is and why it really matters for crime solving on the internet. Internet vigilantianism is the act of carrying out vigilante activities through the internet. Oh my God. The term encompasses vigilantianism against alleged scams, crimes, and non-internet related behavior. So this topic doesn't just like cover like crimes that are like internet crimes, like, you know, pirating or... I just lost my train of thought.
It's basically Batman on a MacBook.
Yeah, it's just a man sitting in his basement with a Batman mask on, like solving crime online.
That's literally it.
Yeah.
That's the most apt description that I could think of.
It is Bruce Wayne without the budget. He just doesn't have a car, and he's kind of like relegated to the internet.
He's equipped with a desktop and Dorito fingers.
Yes. So the expanding scope of media savvy and online interaction has enabled vigilantes to utilize methods specific to the internet in order to distribute justice to parties they consider to be corrupt, but who have not committed a formal crime or have been held accountable or have not been held accountable by the criminal justice system. Internet vigilantism originated in the early 2000s and has since evolved to include a variety of methods such as hacking, baiting, and public shaming.
Also, internet vigilantism changes in cultural. Oh no, we gotta start rocket. I can't put that out of Sarah's nose. Internet vigilantism changes in cultural and political drive depending on location and has varying relationships to state authority depending on context. There are many internet vigilante groups as well as individuals. And we're going to talk about this. Well, I guess let's talk about it right now. Mm-hmm. The relationship to state authority.
Yeah.
Is, how much of this is undermining local authority or state authority? Sometimes this is an interstate thing.
Yeah. Exactly. Like when I thought about like internet vigilantism, it's so super hard. I always thought about like actual crimes, like trying to like using the internet to like identify people at the insurrection would be like a way to use social media to identify. I realized that he broke it up into two. So, it's sort of like moral policing, like someone who they deem to have, like they think has done something wrong. And I assume that would go into like canceling and like dogpiling on that person to get some sort of justice. So that's kind of a separate thing that I wasn't really thinking about.
Yeah. And it's a good, subcategory of this, because this is so overarching. Like, it encompasses a lot of different things. And so he included some methods or online shaming, which that'll do the job if you're the type of person where shame works on you.
If you have emotions, if you have human emotions, yes.
If you identify with that at all, that'll do it. Doxing, and under doxing could also be swatting, where they literally call the SWAT team to your house. Reintegrative shaming, which is public shaming based on the perspective that the act is meant to shame the behavior rather than the target, which I have never seen that happen. Like, that the target can be redeemed and reintegrated into society. And I'm talking in the sphere of influencers and internet people. When has someone been canceled and been like, all right, well, we still love you, but you did a bad thing, but we love you anyway, and we're going to forgive you, and you're all good. That doesn't happen.
No white person says a slur online and everyone's like, okay, we can all agree it's the slur that's wrong, but we still love, it's like, no, I don't think this, I would like to actually see an example of where this has worked and who used it.
Me too. It's a wild thing. He included this and I was like, I can't think of a single example. Because people are out for blood.
Yeah.
We'll do a whole other episode on cancel culture, but that usually is, they're using that person as an example. It's like a head on a stake.
Yes.
So, and there's another one called the human flesh search engine, which is not as gory as it sounds. This is a method originating in China in the early 2000s, which works as a cyber manhunt. It's basically crowdsourcing. It consists of crowdsourcing and pooling together information from the public via online forums to conduct vigilante justice.
Dude,
through the internet. But could they have picked a worse
human
title?
Flesh search engine? It kind of reminds me of like how some keyboards will have like thumbprint scanners. This is just like you place a sliver of human skin on it to like try to find this person.
Yeah. In your wallet, it's like your credit card ID and a little like laminated piece of human flesh.
Like you have like right next to like a picture of your wife is just like a chunk of your like hand skin that's like leathery.
Human flesh search engine and ID, please. ID and registration. It's just your skin.
There's also denial of service attacks, hacktivism, scam baiting, and identity theft activism. I know that it's not John Green. What's that guy who was in Without a Paddle? Not Hank Green. Seth Green. Who was in Without a Paddle? Hank Green. No,
this is the third Green brother.
Yes. But Seth Green recently had his NFT stolen. He was like talking about how, it made him like so much money, and then he fell for like a phishing scam. I was like,
screenshot. It's just me on Twitter.
Hacktivism, is that where you hack someone's account and then like get them banned or something? Or like deactivate their account?
Yeah, that, or is hacktivism also, I feel like a lot of these are, people will create like a software that's downloadable and idiots will download it, and it allows the creator of the software to hack into that person's computer. Is that hacktivism? Or also, is that just like Dixie D'Amelio being like, someone hacked my TikTok? Like, I don't know.
Someone thinks it's a righteous cause to take down Dixie D'Amelio.
He has to be stopped, dude. Someone! I'm putting the Batman logo in the sky to stop it. What is she even doing?
And then the term Internet Vigilantianism describes punitive public denunciations aimed at swaying public opinion in order to take justice in one's own hand. But so it goes on. Do you want to talk more about the different types of vigilantianism? Yeah. Okay. Yes.
It's taking justice into one's own hands by engaging in forms of targeted surveillance, unwanted attention, negative publicity, repression, coercion, or dissuasion. And it's interesting because, we always joke about like these teens online or people online. It's just like, you have nothing better to do.
Yeah.
This is one of those instances where it's like, you have nothing better to do, and you're kind of doing some good with that time.
Yeah, you like realize you have nothing better to do.
You have nothing better to do, so you're going to open cold cases from 1968 and solve them. You solved them.
How bored can you how bored can you get? You're like, God, there's nothing to eat or like do in the house. I guess I'm gonna solve a cold case.
Guess I'm gonna figure out who Jane Doe is.
Yes.
An associate professor in sociology at Telecom Paris Tech named Benjamin Lovelock, he slays, researches digital sociology, and he identified the 4 main forms of internet vigilantism: flagging, investigation, hounding, which slay, and organized denunciation. Internet vigilantism can work as a type of peer surveillance. This is based on the premise that shame can be used as a form of social control. Again, only if you're impacted by being shamed.
Yes, I would like say, so a lot of people say that cancel culture doesn't work, and I would argue for the most part it doesn't at a certain point, like big celebrities, but I also think of it as like sort of like the threat of cancel culture has improved like how people interact online. So maybe it's like a negative reinforcement sort of situation. Yeah. Where like if, maybe someone's forced to be publicly better because they're afraid of being like shit on by the internet, which I guess canceling could work in that sort of way. Yeah.
Well, I always think about it like this in terms of, I mean, you and I have platforms, and I've definitely learned a lot since I was in 2009 on Twitter. Like things change, you evolve as a person, you grow up, but it's also like, would you agree that the general direction of the moral compass on the internet is pretty correct? Is it pretty moral?
I would say so. It's getting there. It's definitely a lot better than it was in 2009. It's noticeably better. There are obviously still room for improvements, but I think it's pretty moral. Yeah.
I think even things like these platforms adapting to, there's a place where you can put your pronouns and things like that. It's like people are listening and they're speaking and they're, we're moving in a better direction, but it's also like, it has to be such extremism to get there. I think about this all the time of like, we as content creators, like what we're posting, what we're doing, there's a certain moral compass in me that has been instilled in me from the internet. Yeah. Because the morals and the ethics online and the spaces we exist are so different from how I was raised.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful for the internet, for better or fucking worse. Mm-hmm. It's taught me about all the different walks of life. And it's things I would never have been exposed to as a white woman from the South.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, yes, we deal with the worst of the worst in terms of canceling and people calling us out for, you should be talking about this, you should do this, you should do that. But it's also like, thank you for pointing that out, because I probably wouldn't have.
No, yeah, exactly. Like I was also raised in like a very Christian family, and like I know there's a lot of bad things about the internet, but it is also like a news source. Like during Black Lives Matter, like you learned you learned so much, and then also just like TikTok, I learned about like Native Hawaiians and like about cultures that I wouldn't actually have been like exposed to. So it makes you a smarter person, and I feel like that also makes you a little bit more moral, Yeah.
Yes. I feel like people like this, to bring it back, sorry.
Yeah.
People like this, just that anonymous commenter, user 1010602010, whatever, where it's like, hey, their pronouns are da-da-da. It's like they are the moral compass online. It's like always just trying to correct the original poster and just kind of to be more sensitive and more inclusive and whatever. And so I feel like these people who are so attentive to detail use that, how it could be turned into bullying, like your kid, you use the wrong pronouns, you whatever. They use this and they turn it into like actual good civil work.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Am I making sense?
Yeah. I wouldn't say they're vigilantes at this point. I feel like the vigilante is probably reserved for like people who are like someone who's just like a shithead, like an unapologetic shithead, and they just want to like hack them to like get their shit taken down because they're posting very harmful things. I would say these are like baby vigilantes where they're like, hey, just so you know, what you said was kind of incorrect.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly.
Just kind of looking out for the greater good, it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be annoying at times because you have to admit that you did something wrong.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I feel like it's pushing that moral compass a little bit further in the right direction.
No, yeah.
So,
I definitely think the internet made me a better person because my parents did teach me a lot morally. And so like the internet really, yeah.
Howdy, y'all. It's Brittany, and I'm here to talk to you about something I've been loving recently. So for most of us, learning a second language in high school or college wasn't exactly a high point in our academic careers, unless you are like me, who enjoys learning other cultures and other languages. Now, thanks to Babbel, the language learning app that sold more than 10 million subscriptions, there's an addictively fun and easy way to learn a new language. Whether you'll be traveling abroad, connecting in a deeper way with family, or you just got some free time, Babbel teaches bite-sized language lessons that you'll actually use in the real world. I speak Spanish. I learned it in high school and college, and it's easy to forget it if you don't practice it every day. Babbel really helps with that. There's little daily things you do. I learned new vocab. It's really, really helpful. Babbel's 15-minute lessons make it the perfect way to learn a new language on the go. Other language learning apps use AI for their lesson plans, but Babbel lessons were created by over 100 language experts. Their teaching method has been scientifically proven to be effective, and with Babbel you can choose from 14 different languages, including, but not limited to, Spanish, French, Italiano, German. Plus, Babbel's speech recognition technology helps you to improve your pronunciation and accent, which I find is the coolest part. There are so many ways to learn with Babbel. In addition to lessons, you can access podcasts, games, videos, stories, and even live classes. Plus, it comes with a 20-day money-back guarantee. So start your new language learning journey today with Babbel. Right now, save up to 60% off your subscription when you go to babbel.com/VCG. That is babbel.com/VCG for up to 60% off your subscription. Babbel, language for life.
But continuing on to internet vigilantism. Where did you start?
Internet vigilantism can work as a type of peer surveillance. That's kind of what we were getting at.
Yeah.
Is that, again, based on the premise that shame can be used as a form of social control. You can shame people into acting better. And relationships, often short-term between consumers, formed for the purpose of achieving a goal. There are muddied overlaps between internet vigilantism and cyberbullying, which is very true,
yes.
As both utilize shaming methods, and cyberbullying may sometimes be conducted under the guise of internet vigilantism. And this is in the case that a vigilante realizes they aren't achieving social justice, but utilize it as a means of rationalizing their acts. What do you think about that?
I definitely agree. Like, it's where I keep circling back to this example, like when I made that joke about TJ Maxx's always being disorganized and dirty, and someone was like, hey, saying that TJ Maxx's are disorganized and dirty is classist. And I would understand where they would be correct if I said anyone who shops at TJ Maxx is poor and not worthy of life. That would be classist and weird, honestly.
And you did tweet that shortly after.
Yes, and I did. I doubled down. No, but they were trying to they were trying to say that they were like being like socially like conscious, like they were under the guise of social consciousness, sort of thing. Yeah. But it really was just them trying to be a dick because they didn't hear what I said and they just wanted to like shoot their I was gonna say shoot their shot, but like make me feel stupid.
You're a classist. please go on a date with me. Oh my god, I want you so bad.
God, I love flawed human beings.
Oh, I love you so much.
I was going to say shoot me down, but then I said shoot my shot. It's a whole thing. But cyberbullying often involves publishing of private information to publicly humiliate the target, but is typically driven by the bully's ability to get away with harassment rather than a desire for social change. Exactly. Digital vigilantism can also overlap with the digital activism, as an awareness of a social issue may increase due to the dissemination of information and weaponization of visibility associated with digital vigilante tactics.
That's a mouthful.
I know. Visibility enables the broadening of social outrage and is used in digital social justice campaigns. Agreed.
I think that we're getting into where it gets dangerous.
Yeah.
Where yes, you can shout out people for wrongdoings and try to correct them. And, we're working towards the greater good. But when you're posting their address online and you're doing all this, well, you know what? I'll backtrack a little bit, because I think in some cases I support that. If you are a racist, misogynistic, whatever, you're just like, you're one of those people online, and people tweet your mom's name, where you went to school, where you're going to college, where you work, and you get fired and you don't get let into college, I think you deserve that. You are a terrible person, and you should not be afforded the opportunities that a normal person should have, because you're going to spread that behavior to all those environments.
Yeah. I wouldn't say like posting their address unless they're saying that they're like, I don't know, if they're suggesting or they keep making weird jokes about like hurting their dog or something, then that's when it's like, find their IP address. Like that's really weird. But I definitely like, if someone is like being really racist on like TikTok and they're like about to go to college, I totally understand like finding out where this person goes to high school and like forwarding it to their school board and being like, is this the person who, represents your community? And then they be, yeah, I totally understand that.
I always, it feels also too like when that happens, it's a group effort. Like when a bunch of people email and they're like, this person is a piece of shit. Like they're hateful. Look at all the shit they've said online. Like you said, does this represent your institution? Yeah. Does this person represent your college? Do something. And then they do something and they're like, you're expelled, you're whatever. It's kind of like we did that.
Yeah.
I know that you're derailing that kid's life, but it's also like, they're a bad person. Yeah,
it reminds me of like when someone goes to like a restaurant and like they talk about their horrible experience on TikTok, and now you see like all the restaurant reviews like flooded with like 1-star reviews.
Yep.
Yeah, wait, there was something recently. A church got. Wait a second, let me look this up.
Is it Google reviews for a church?
Yeah, no. So a pastor who called Democrats demons claimed he gave up his tax-exempt status. Like his church lost their tax-exempt status because he was like suggesting that they were going to do like another insurrection. And so like people saw that like after it was posted online, and then now he has to pay taxes. The church has to pay taxes.
Let's go. Yes. Let's go. Wow.
I know. It's crazy. Like, if you're a dick and it gets on the internet, it's probably going to really screw you over.
No, there's consequences.
I know. That lady, just like that lady at that fucking, she was like walking her dog without a leash. And then that guy was like, hey, you need to put your dog on the leash. And then she was like harassing him and like accusing him of like something that he wasn't doing. And then she lost her job and she was like, how could this have happened? Why did this I threatened someone? I'm the victim.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's also to be a pastor, dude, and to say all that, like, you're insane. That's insane.
I think a lot of pastors are absolutely insane.
I mean, you have to be kind of unhinged to think that you are the mouth of God.
Yeah.
When you really think about it, like, I'm a vessel of Christ. Hey, maybe no, you're not.
I imagine
maybe no, you're not.
The way you phrase that, I imagine it's like a game of telephone. Like God tells Jesus something, and Jesus tells like the pastor, and
Pastor Bob.
Yes, Pastor Bob, and the pastor's like, I think he said like, don't kill or do kill gay people. I'm not sure.
It was kind of muffled. I heard it in a dream.
Yeah, and then God's like, no, I said this, and yes. But
I that's actually really deconstructed. That's insane.
That's literally.
Trust me, guys. It's like those on Ask Jeeves. It's like, how do you know this? Trust me, bro. That's pastor.
What's that like? What's that child's game where you like draw a picture and then people on the next page have to guess what it is?
Dictionary.
Yes, that's literally how the Bible came about. Like originally, like homosexuals wasn't a word in the Bible, and like it was added in like the 30s or 40s. So I imagine just like someone drew like two men sleeping together, but it was really a verse about how a priest shouldn't lay with a young boy, and then someone flipped the page and they're like, gay. No gay. And that's how it got in the Bible. Is it Pictionary?
Pictionary.
Okay, yes. But
there's little like hearts in the corner.
Yes.
Yeah.
So cyber vigilante, it originated in the early 2000s with the rise of the internet and gained traction in China, where it was used as a method of exposing government corruption and utilizing civic engagement. That sounds like, pretty decent use of that.
Sounds like a great movie.
Yes. It's also a means of sharing previously censored or unavailable information. The popularity of these activities arose due to the human flesh search engine, which enables the conduction of cyber manhunts. The first of these manhunts was conducted in 2006 when a video surfaced online of a woman killing her kitten with her high heels. Oh my God.
That's awful. And this was like a repeat offender too. Like this woman, it was multiple videos. And they ended up making a Netflix show about it. Of like finding her and tracking her down. For like doing that, because that's insane. Yeah, it was anonymous.
I don't know if it was the same person, but it's Netflix. Don't fuck with cats. Hunting an internet killer. It's a widespread effort by internet vigilantes to track down a serial cat murderer on the internet who has been posting anonymous videos of their activities. Yeah, did you watch that?
I did not.
It was just a lot.
Watch a new episode?
It was crazy because it was a lot of people on Facebook forums where they would have very little information in the frame, but you could zoom in on the back and you'd see a logo on the wall, or you could tell which way the sun came in the room. And so using just so vague, and they used that information to catch this person.
That's why people do that on TikTok too. TikTok, YouTube videos, for albums coming out, recording artists.
Yeah.
When it's they were here at this time and this picture correlates to that. And also people were at the airport. It's just what, dude?
Yeah.
Go get a job. Get a job. What are you doing? But also, you're doing good work.
Yes.
Keep it up.
Internet, I hate saying vigilantism now, can also take the form of dark justice, as we see vigilante pedophile hunters pose as children online in order to ensnare sexual predators. Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, I think that this is so, first of all, great work. I mean, to take it upon yourself to be this person is a known predator, and to go literally as an undercover mission and be I'm going to pose as a teenage girl, I'm going to pose as this, and you catch them. I mean, it's literally the show Catfish.
Yeah.
It's Nev and Max. They're the closest thing we have to Batman. Nev is Batman.
They should get a catfish mask.
They should.
I was thinking how Batman has his. They just have whiskers and they show up looking like fish to two people who are clearly not who they say they are.
Yeah. What's going on here, guys? I think that's insane. I think Catfish is a show, first of all, what a crazy concept. And it's still, I mean, we really don't hear about catfishing as common now as we did probably 5 years ago. Would you agree?
Yeah, because I mean, usually you can do a reverse image search to see if this person, you're actually talking to them. I've had people use my pictures on different profiles, and I'm Anna, and it's really nice because sometimes they'll say I'm younger than I am.
Okay.
But that's pretty much it. I haven't seen it in a while. It was when I was on Vine mainly.
Yeah, people don't. I'm not pretty enough for people to do that to me. So, hey, I'm grateful.
Shut up.
Identity theft, dude. How do you deal with that? Well, I'm the real one.
Dude, I told you I got banned from Hinge for impersonating myself. And
that is insane.
I know. So I guess so many people were this can't possibly be Sarah. And I submitted my passport photo, and they still never gave it back.
They said, they sold it on the dark web.
Yes.
Free passport.
Hinge is selling passports. But yeah, it is. This also reminds me of on TikTok, you can pay girls to slide into your boyfriend's DMs to test his loyalty. So it's kind of
insane.
Yeah. So it's I think that's really fun as well. I mean, besides when it really hurts your feelings because you find out they're cheating on you.
Yeah.
But yeah,
hey, being an internet vigilante in that sense,
girls
doing the Lord's work, I guess.
I was gonna say you're doing the Lord's work. Okay, yes. So do you want to talk about the legality of it?
All right. So in 2002, in the United States, Representative Howard Berman proposed the Peer-to-Peer Piracy Prevention Act, which would have protected copyright, the PPPP, which would have protected copyright holders from liability for taking measures to prevent the distribution, reproduction, or display of their copyrighted works on peer-to-peer computer networks. Peer-to-peer computer networks. That's the most 2002 sentence. Legislation would have given copyright holders both carrots and sticks and said that copyright owners should be free to use reasonable, limited self-help measures to thwart P2P piracy if they can do so without causing harm. I don't know what that means. But Professor James D. Miller acknowledged the threats to the privacy of legitimate internet users that such actions would pose, but drew comparisons with other successful crime-fighting measures that can invade privacy, such as metal detectors at airports. And I also wanted to bring up that this is insane. Like, it's a very, I would say, accurate comparison, because like, how many other things can you think of that are invasive like that? Like digging through your bag at a concert, like your pads and tampons fall out.
Yeah.
Or like literally getting patted down. But like, that's wild.
I would say that's like very necessary though, like especially with the events that have happened, like where people have brought like guns or knives. So I understand that. What also is crazy, the reason why we take our shoes off at the airport is because one guy flying from, I think, like Paris to Miami tried to like bring a shoe bomb on the plane. And it was literally only one time, and now everyone has to take their shoes off. Yeah.
Do you know how many cases of athlete's foot I've gotten?
Why are you going to the airport without socks on?
What's up? I'm kidding. I'm TSA pre-check. I don't got to take my shoes off.
Yeah, no, I just don't even show up with shoes on.
Yeah. If I took my shoes off at the airport or on the plane, it would knock out people in a 10-foot radius around me. My feet smell like pickles, and I just wanted to get that off my chest.
But pickles are kind of nice smelling.
Pickles are delicious.
Yeah, I love them.
Not when it's on the human body, though.
So with the relationship to authority, digital vigilantism can be viewed as a menace to the authorities or an expression of digital citizenship, depending on the context.
I would vote for digital citizenship.
Yeah. Vigilantes may view their actions as digital citizenship if they are seeking to improve the safety of online interaction. Here's the thing. I understand how it can be absolutely annoying to like law enforcement if you know, if you've misidentified someone, you're like, oh, I know this person, and they're not.
And there's countless examples of that. Like,
yeah.
Falsely identifying someone and they're completely innocent and they literally go to prison because of that shit.
And if they don't go to prison, their reputation in the community is now like ruined. So I can understand why it would be annoying to law enforcement. The other thing is like, I don't really think a lot of people in law enforcement are like social media savvy.
Not at all.
I think
Which is shocking because I feel like that should be a prerequisite for the environment we exist in today.
Yeah, like you can literally talk to like teenage girls who can find someone's brother's cousin, former employee's dog walker through like tagged photos on Instagram. Yeah. And I don't think I would trust the police doing the same thing. The police should employ teenage girls to find people.
They really should. Jealous teenage girls are the most investigative journalists we have ever had on the planet.
Exactly. They could have broken Watergate.
If you put one horny, jealous teenage girl in 1968, done.
Is that when Watergate? That's when Nixon was president.
Nixon presidency. 69 to 74. Damn, I was almost there.
Why 5? Oh, impeached. It's like, what a weird
time. Or like, I need to find it up.
Yeah. Like, or that one president who was like president for a month because he got cold outside during the inauguration. Bitch.
It's kind of chilly.
I know. He just didn't bring a coat outside.
Yeah.
Vigilantes' responses to perceived malicious activity have reportedly caused the loss of digital evidence, thereby obstructing law enforcement efforts in ascertaining attribution and jurisdiction over cybercrime offenses. Therefore, Internet Vigilantism is generally in opposition to legitimate criminal investigations and viewed as tampering with evidence.
I get that.
I would
especially when you think about it in the sense of like, okay, if evidence is a Twitter account and all the tweets there within, if enough people report that account, whatever, and the account gets taken down, you're reliant upon screenshots now that people can doctor. You can't doctor tweets.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, like imagine like admitting to killing someone on Twitter and then like everyone reports you and now like the only confession is just like Twitter's like, sorry, we can't get it back.
Yeah.
We can give you a new profile.
Violated community guidelines. Yes. So sorry. That's like wild to think about that like you can literally have a whole account wiped and all that evidence is gone. Now you're reliant upon screenshots from teenage girls that easily be edited and doctored. It's just like, this is so insane. And also to think that like a Twitter feed or a Twitter thread could be literally, what's it called? Not indoctrinated.
Used in court?
Yeah, like admissible evidence in court.
Yeah. Social media people really jump the gun when you report an account that wipes all the evidence, or like you break very sad news to like a family member. Yes.
Yeah. Hey, vigilantianism.
Dial it back.
All in a day's work. Let's dial it back, guys.
Ruin multiple people's lives, protecting and serving.
Clocking out for the day.
You close your laptop, move the plate of nuggets on top of it, and just like watch The Simpsons.
Mom, my dino nuggets are cold.
Do you want to talk about the internet vigilante groups? Because there's some names I can't pronounce.
Yeah, we're going to go for it. Some of these are Russian, so if you are Russian, I would stop listening now or skip forward 30 seconds. There are many internet vigilante groups permeating the internet with different motivations and levels of anonymity. I would say the most famous by far is Anonymous. Mm-hmm. To be honest, I don't even know how Anonymous works.
Yeah.
I don't know how they get centralized information. I have followed a couple Anonymous accounts on Twitter, but I know that those are not really reliable, especially during BLM and all that. I was being warned not to trust what those accounts were saying, and I know that it's a decentralized, like that's kind of the mission, is that it's not just one person that they can target; it's a bunch of people all over the planet.
Yeah,
and they're anonymous, and I think that they arguably work for good. Exposing secrets and all that, and government documents, and but I don't really want to speak to it too much because it kind of confuses me, and I think it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
So the next one is Liga Bezopasnogo Interneta, a Russian nonprofit dedicated to regulating extremist material online. We need one of these. Bad.
Yeah.
The next one is StopZam, also known as Stop a Deuce Bag. Good one, guys. Is a Russian youth group that publicly shames bad drivers via online videos. We need that too.
Oh, dude, have you Russian dash cam videos on YouTube? Have you ever like watched them? Like their driving is so bad that a lot of people just have dash cams. It is insane how people drive in Russia.
It stresses me out to think about it. The ones I've seen, it's literally like, oh, okay. And then no one does anything.
There's clearly like a train coming down tracks and a school bus is like, I can make it.
Floor it. It's literally, they're living in GTA. Yes. Zamri Slovak is another online community which publishes political satire on Facebook and means of inspiring civic engagement.
Okay.
All right.
That just sounds like a singular guy who like posts like political memes.
Yeah, just one guy like, all right, guys, be sure to go vote. Like, you're annoying. One of the most famous ones, one of the most famous websites is Web Sleuths. Web Sleuths is an internet community that is focused on crime and missing persons, and they've solved a lot of these cases. Privately owned Web Sleuths LLC maintains a forum for registered users to discuss and classify information related to crimes, trials, and unsolved cases, which they try to solve. Someone named Trisha Griffith purchased the site in 2004. Some of the content is available for viewing without registration, but members have an option to be verified with their credentials with the administrator if they have a specific expertise, like DNA analysis professionals, if you're a law enforcement officer or are related to a specific crime in some way. Like if you're a relative, if you were there, if you're a witness. So that's insane. But also, you could lie.
Yeah.
I guess anyone could lie at any time. Talking to a police officer, you can lie.
Yes. Or they should add like in the drop down like jealous teenage girl.
Yeah.
I feel like that's enough credentials, honestly.
We are not weaponizing the jealous teenage girls enough in this country.
We aren't. There are some notable cases. Crimes which have received national attention are always highlighted by web sleuths. In 2008, Kaylee Anthony murder and 2011 trial of her mother drew years of interest and commentary regarding the murder, media attention to the case, and documentation of evidence and information. And then
Remember that, dude?
Is this Casey Anthony's mother?
Casey Anthony is the mom. Kaylee Anthony is the daughter.
Yeah. I don't really watch a lot of true crime. It just makes me so sad.
It does too. And also the true crime obsession wave that we've been seeing, and we're going to do a whole episode on this.
Yeah.
Is so invasive and it's so insensitive, and they treat it like it's a fucking game show.
Yeah.
Or like it's an interactive, like American Idol. What do you think? Be sure to text it's just like, these are real families, these are real people, and it's actively ongoing.
Yeah.
There was another one, the Gabby.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember this one that happened literally August of last year?
No.
It was
Gabby Petito. Yes, I do.
And her boyfriend. We'll get into that in a second. But the way that people were talking about that on TikTok, I was like, this is just, I could not imagine being her mother or her sister and watching people talk about it like that. Okay, guys, like getting on TikTok, okay, guys, so I was watching this video and here's what I think. Like, oh my God.
Or they're like on YouTube, they're doing like a dramatic smoky eye while talking about like how she was like found deceased. And you're like, do you see how this is wildly inappropriate?
That is so insane. The internet is so wild.
I understand like cases that have been like cases from like before 1940. Kind of, maybe.
It's detached enough to
Yeah.
where you can talk about it in terms of, I mean, I get it's still a human life lost.
Yeah.
But, it's far enough removed. These ones that are actively ongoing and they do shit like that, it's like, you have to just cringe.
Yeah. I mean, but you could do like a dramatic smoky eye to the Hindenburg crash. And that would be totally acceptable, I feel like.
Dramatic smoky eye holiday vampy look to World War II memorabilia, like talking about
the perfect red lip to the Titanic. But yeah, it's actually really crazy how like, and also with the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial.
Dude.
The way that people are talking about that as if it's like teams or they're making memes. I'm like, this is domestic abuse. What is wrong with y'all?
Yeah. And it's also the bigger issue of false accusations and how scary that is.
Yeah.
And it's such a slippery slope to talk about. Yeah. I've talked about it with my family and we're just like, I mean, it's interesting because we all love Johnny Depp, but it's like, I don't think that this should have been public. Yeah. And it's so unfortunate. How invasive is that? Like if that was your divorce hearing?
Yeah. Like there's like a live stream on TikTok of like the entire, and if you go into the comments, some like shitheads will be like, what are their pronouns? Or like stuff like that. And you're like, dude, chill.
Johnny, we love you in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah. Do the face, do the face, do the run. It's like he's literally standing trial.
He's sobbing on the stand. Yeah. Please stop. Anyway.
Yeah, but last year when they did the Gabby Petito case, everyone on TikTok was just so disrespectful.
They were feral over it.
Yeah. People all over the world were quick to jump to social media platforms to try and piece together the missing case themselves. The spread of these conspiracies and insights on the case have spread like rapid fire. On TikTok alone, videos tagged with hashtag Gabby Petito has been viewed over 900 million times. An internet sleuth is a person who searches, the internet for information on a person or an event, doing a kind of detective work through the internet. With the rise of internet sleuths, it raises the question, are they actually helping or is it harmful to the investigation of the case? I want to say, like, I think it's half and half. Obviously, I feel like it's kind of similar to back in the day when people, like, tip lines. I mean, I assume there's still tip lines where there would be crazy people who do call in and it's just a bunch of false leads. And the internet just amplifies that, which could exhaust community resources and police. Yeah. But I also think it kind of is helpful because, like, didn't the person who, like, helped... they identified Gabby Petito's camper is another camper who saw them on TikTok, like, looking for the girl, and they realized that they literally have footage driving by Gabby Petito's van. Wow. Yeah. So I get it does help, but it also doesn't help.
I think that, not to get political, but the question of like, are they actually helping or is it harmful to the investigation of a case applies to the police as well.
Yes.
I mean, it is in every county and every city, police mishandling evidence. Yeah. And I have a cousin who she's a forensic investigator, and she is just beside herself with the incompetency in some of these like forensic departments of like grown men who have been trained in this, just mishandling evidence, losing evidence. Yeah. Things like that. It's just like completely going off the rails of procedure and all this. And it's like, it would happen regardless, if this is internet people, but internet people interfering just makes it worse. Yeah. But I would say, people are not utilizing the helpfulness of the average digital citizen. Like if the average digital citizen is trying to help and is like, look at this video, dude. And it's like actually helpful evidence. I feel like people don't really, that's insane. That is an untapped resource.
Yeah. I feel like if you want to get into online crime, I feel like the safest thing to do is like the people who reopen like cold cases, because if the community is not actively working on that, pool all the resources you have to working on that. I feel like with active crimes, I would just, unless you 100% know something, I probably wouldn't engage with the crime itself.
Yeah, because you could end up doing more harm than good.
Yes. So community policing is a collaboration between the police and the community where the two can identify and solve community issues together. The idea is that the authorities are not the only guardians of law and order, and that members of the community can help become allies to enhance the safety and quality of their community.
Like Nev from Catfish.
Yeah. The crime of
He's
catfish.
He's a modern American hero.
Yes. Although it sounds nice in theory, there are plenty of implications that arise with community policing. For one, it would require police organizations to drastically change the way they work. Drastically change the way they work. Typically, the police will provide their assistance in solving problems and offering helpful resources, and then citizens would then instead voice their concern and contribute their own advice on how to handle issues and even act on the current concerns. It's obvious that a successful collaboration would involve patience and understanding across the board. It's hard to say whether acting as an internet sleuth would be considered community policing. I mean, I assume it's just like it's like an Amber Alert but online. So like I assume the police would be like, hey, put out this notification that this person is missing, and then Twitter comes together, because I feel like Twitter has definitely found missing people.
Yes.
By just like retweeting, like my cousin got lost in this area or something like that.
It's so nice when you see that, and I've retweeted a couple of those in the past, and to check in later and you see that tweet that's like, we found him. Thank you to everyone. I mean, like, it works.
Yeah,
it works.
Yeah, dude, on the Citizen app, when there's like a silver alert, I feel like those get solved fairly like frequently. Is that people, have you seen this like older person? And then people have like, yeah. And so I feel like it is really helpful. And that's actually probably a way to get like law enforcement involved. What's also crazy is that people have used like Citizen app footage in like court cases.
That's insane.
Dude, the thought of like, okay, so there'll be like a notification on the Citizen app which just like reports crime in your area. It's like 300 feet away, someone's getting stabbed. Would you like to film it? Like, imagine like if I just got out of bed and I was like, you know what, I have nothing better to do. There's no cold cases I want to solve right now. I just go out into the corner and I film someone being stabbed. And then there's an option, like a community chat option, where people are like, what type of knife is it? And it's like, that's not important right now. I can't see it. It's in him.
Emoji reaction.
Yeah.
People like,
or like the praying hands emoji when someone's actively being assaulted.
Just like, come on, dude. Like, have you ever filmed something on Citizen app?
At our old place, there was a car crash at like 9 a.m. and I was grocery shopping and I was already outside, so I took a picture of it. Yes. Period. Mm-hmm.
At our current place, do you remember that? There was a wreck.
Oh, yeah.
The intersection. It was right outside my window, and I literally just out of my window.
God, my fucking Thankfully, there's no blood on this. Sorry, I keep blowing this gauze out of my nose.
That was like a perfectly timed snot rocket. Anyway, yeah, I literally was just standing at my window really menacingly, like holding my phone like this, just filming it.
Yeah.
Because what am I going to do? It's a car crash, like the ambulance, I heard them already coming. The police were there and I was just live streaming. And people were like, thank you so much. That's my sister. And I said, that's fucking crazy.
Oh my God.
So, yeah. I'm just a citizen. I'm just a helpful, crime-solving citizen. And that's really how I identify.
Yeah, but what's also kind of disturbing about the Citizen app is that you can literally see dead people sometime. Like there was
something about that feels a little illegal.
Yeah, like I think like a motorcyclist like went off the freeway and like someone was just filming it and he was laying there and I was like, dude, anyone can look at this guy right now. Like the police haven't even gotten here.
Is that like, do you remember having to sign I confirm I'm 18 and up to download Citizen?
No.
I don't think there's no.
No, I think Chris
anyone can become Citizen.
Yeah. And I'm on Citizen as Chris Angel, and I think Chris Angel's in his 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm fine. No, but yeah, the Citizen app is, I guess, a way for, I don't even know if they like collaborate with local law enforcement, but they've definitely used footage from the Citizen app in court cases.
That's wild.
I know.
I want to talk about the risks of this,
yes.
of internet vigilantism. So according to data from the Bureau of Justice, as of 2016, the U.S. reported having nearly 18,000 law enforcement agencies. However, an additional study shows that only 7% of those have units dedicated to solving cold cases. There's clearly a wide gap in the resources currently available to focus on missing persons and cold cases. And this makes it apparent that there is space for crowd sleuthing because it's better that someone is giving attention to unsolved cases, right? Mm-hmm. One could argue that internet sleuthing is helping authorities to make society safer by harnessing the power of the internet's centralized information to provide extra protection for citizens. Yet the question still remains, can there be a risk to this vigilante-style crime solving? Obviously, yes.
Yeah. But I think also, like you said, police and the courts, like they catch the wrong people all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that we should all start catching the wrong people too, but there's risks on all sides. That's what I'm trying to say, yes.
I think that it's a very sensitive thing, where like, and this is the case too, and just like, anyone can become a police officer. Yeah. Anyone can become whatever. Anyone can start working on a cold case and mislead people and provide misinformation. And I think that by and large, it's probably not the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
But for those very rare few that maybe they're a retired cop, maybe they're whatever, maybe they're just really meticulous and attentive to detail, these rare cases where we can literally name them where crimes have been solved.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful thing to come from the internet, I think. Like, did anyone ever think that that's how the internet would be used?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I definitely would have a profession. Like they said, the other website, you have to like prove that you're you work in like forensic research or used to be like a cop. And I think that's a great use of your time and the internet, Yeah. Al Gore, you really did that. You helped solve.
Al Gore, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos' internet. You're all right.
Then there's also, I just laughed and now I'm gonna read something horrible. The 2017 Charlottesville Unite the Right March, where people on social media falsely identified someone through thought to be involved in the march. The innocent person accused had people across the internet demanding he get fired from his job, accused him of being racist, and even went as far as posting his address on the internet. That is, you have to be 100% certain about who you're looking at. Yeah.
And it's also, people don't really give a shit about evidence online, which is scary, especially in cancel culture and all this. It's like, well, he said this way back when. I can't find the exact tweet, but trust me.
Yeah.
And that's enough for people to go off of. I guess this is that example. I mean, a Unite the Right march, dude.
I remember that.
Like, wow.
Yeah, I was living in Norfolk at the time, and like everyone, that's Southern Virginia, and everyone was driving up to not the Unite the Right march, like to like counter protest.
All
the
my
march.
friends were going.
Yeah, they were driving up to counter protest. That made me sound so horrible for a second, but it was like a really huge thing in Virginia, and also I think someone unfortunately died there as well.
Jesus.
Yeah. But
that's scary to be like, I saw you there. No, it was him.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? No. And you are defenseless in that sense.
Yeah.
No, I promise. And if you're like, you fit all the stereotypes of someone who would be there, you're done, dude. You're done.
That's like one of the benefits of like this is gonna sound weird, like of documenting. Like if I'm an online content creator, like I document where I am at all times, and it kind of like, I mean, I don't like regularly interact with things that I could get accused of like a crime or something, but I probably have like a picture of me laying in bed at that exact moment.
Which you have an alibi.
Yeah, is the only thing I really think about. Yeah.
There's another example from the 2013 Boston Marathon Reddit thread called Find Boston Bombers. It went extremely viral after the marathon's tragedy, and people were scanning pictures of the event to try to identify the young male with dark hair and a backpack. The internet sleuths used unconfirmed police scanners and ruined the reputations of several innocent people when making their accusations. Since Reddit is an anonymous site, there were no consequences for anyone involved, and one article even went as far as to accuse these internet sleuths as being a racist Where's Wally. That's rough. And again, internet sleuths don't have to abide by any standards, which can be problematic in the act of solving a crime. You can say quite literally anything.
Yeah, could you? But
people would be like, "He's got a point."
But could you imagine if they did have like a creed? You know, like like a list of rules. It's like first rule of internet sleuthing: don't
lie.
Yeah, lie about who you are. It's like Fight Club.
Lie about anything and everything. Mislead the police.
Yes. Yeah, the internet has no type of restraints as there is in the policing world, which I don't really think that police really have any restraints either.
And if there are restraints, people are going to break them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Authorities are sworn to follow a detailed list of protocols in their day-to-day work to ensure that what they do is legal and ethical. Yeah, sure. One could argue that there are no rules on the internet and that some have even violated serious confidentiality laws. Read that for me. One
could argue that some have even violated serious confidentiality laws in the process of solving crimes.
So they violated community guidelines.
Police have been vocal about internet sleuths practicing of doxing. Doxing is considered a malicious act when a person reveals someone's identity or personal information online. This can include their name, address, workplace, financial information, social security number, criminal history, and personal photos. Although doxing has many consequences to those wrongfully accused and violated, it is not technically illegal if the exposed information was obtained using legal methods. However, doxing can fall under the laws of cyberstalking, harassment, and threats. Always, I would argue.
Yeah. One time someone found out where I used to work and they sent me a printed script of Law & Order SVU that was signed by the cast.
Hey.
Which, while was nice, don't ever fucking do that. I mean, you can't. It's just, yeah, it was like, no, it was the most horrifying nice thing that's ever happened to me. So I do want to just now move on to the examples of solved crimes with internet contribution. The first one being a lottery winner murder was tracked down by web sleuths. Abraham Shakespeare's murder was a big deal. I know, I was about to say, do you think they're related? Murder was a big deal in Florida. He was a day laborer who won, I know that's not likely after I just said that out loud. He was a day laborer who won $32 million in the state lottery, only to be murdered by his financial advisor, D.D. Moore. Police suspected Moore, but they couldn't prove it until she began commenting on the web sleuth's website under a false name, then refuting those claims under her actual name. Oh my God. Web sleuths took note of the matching IP addresses, giving authority the evidence they needed to arrest her. This dumb bitch used her own name to be like, no, that doesn't sound like her. I know Dee Dee. She's a close friend of mine.
Yeah, I love her. She's so pretty and skinny and hot too, and smart and funny.
Yeah, and single, I've heard.
And also rich.
That's just another testament to like how older people are like absolute idiots online sometimes.
Yeah. She thought she was doing something. You did nothing, girl. You went to jail.
Dude, I worry about lottery winners because not like it usually there's like it ends very like sadly with lottery winners. People end up like asking them for like their money or like they have to like go into hiding basically.
And you get taxed out the ass. You don't even get to keep the majority of the money.
Yeah, you probably but if you tax like, 15 million, not 32 million, that's still, you got 17 more million.
You're still sitting pretty.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the next one?
So the next one is Twitter and Facebook users help solve a hate crime. after a 2014 incident in which 2 men were beaten up by a group of people because of their sexual orientation, Twitter and Facebook users cross-referenced pictures of the possible assailants with their restaurant check-ins. Ultimately, they were able to identify the culprits. Slay. There's another one where Anonymous targets a pedophile group. In 2015, Anonymous began a concerted effort to expose a worldwide pedophile ring that had been operating in secret since at least the 1980s. Calling their effort Operation Death Eaters, they love Harry Potter, Anonymous began collating child sex cases from across the world and cross-referencing them with dark web subgroups. Now, see, this isn't the average internet user. Like, wait, if this and this, it's like them with like a red thing on a cardboard. This Anonymous works a lot differently. A spokesperson for Anonymous said, the premise behind Op Death Eaters is to expose high-level complicity, obstruction of justice, and cover-up in the pedo-sadist industry in order to show the need for independent inquiries.
It is kind of like funny to think about Anonymous being like a millennial and like a huge Harry Potter stan.
Yeah. What should we call it? Avocado toast? No. Think. Anybody feel like Harry Potter?
Underneath his like mask is like, I don't know, like I was gonna say underneath his mask is like a cloak, but then yeah, whatever, it's the whole thing.
He's like, okay, we go in, we have invisibility clooks, I use my wand. They're like, maybe, hey.
The wand appears like right next to his desk.
It's even funnier is him being like, all right, we need a name for this. I came up with one, Operation Death Eaters. Someone in the back is like, that's from Harry Potter, dude.
Yeah. He's like, what's worse than a pedophile ring? Death Eaters. It's a really interesting choice. But I mean, if it worked, it worked.
Yeah.
And then,
hey, thanks, Anonymous.
Thank you for that. So there was also a man murdered for his Civil War era items. Tattoo artist and 19th century antiques collector Greg May was murdered and his body was cut up with a chainsaw. Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
That's violent. It took a year for police and federal investigators to prove that he was dead. All they knew was that his former roommate had stolen his $70,000 collection. It wasn't until you with my Legos. It was, oh geez, I'm no better than the true crime people right now. It wasn't until they were contacted by Ellen Leach, an E-detective who was trying to solve what she thought was a different murder with information about a severed head found in a bucket full of concrete. They were able to charge the ex-roommate with murder.
So the roommate did it.
Oh my God.
A chainsaw, dude?
Yeah, that's violent. And then... That's, yeah.
Man just fucking loves the Civil War. Just loves the Civil War. He's so jealous. That's you doing that to me and my limited edition stuffed Mickey Mouses.
Yeah.
And that's me with your Legos.
Dude, I don't want to joke about crime, but give me a second. I realized, like, with my anxiety problems, if a cop asked me literally any question, I would tell them my life story. Like,
yeah. Oh no, you're guilty, dude. If a cop starts investigating you, you're guilty.
Oh, dude, I tell them like everything. Like one time I got like pulled over in Virginia for like expired registration and like license plates or something like that. And then I was like, the cop was like, have you been driving for long? And I was like, no, I'm just trying to get to work. Like I don't usually drive with this car. And then for some reason I was like, do you want to hear something funny? I just came down from Playlist Live in DC and I realized I just like was trying to like make him laugh, but I just also admitted to driving like 150 miles to DC. And I was like, oh my God, I'm an idiot. But also
driving through multiple states with expired registration and no insurance.
He's like, have you been driving? I'm like, no, but funny thing, I have. Oh, dude, but this is gonna sound really sad. So in Virginia, I don't know if this is everywhere, he like wrote on the ticket that I weighed 115 pounds. And so like after that interaction, I was like, he thinks I weigh 115 pounds? I still have that ticket because I was like, I'm not 115 pounds.
You should frame it.
I did frame it and I put it in a TikTok. But yeah, dude, if I committed any crime and a cop asked me, I would tell them every bad thing I've done wrong in the past 6 months.
That's the thing is like, because it's like when you're trying to lie to your parents and it's like, well, okay, I need to make up a lie. And then the lie gets really extravagant. Yeah. It's like, I feel like the police would ask me a question and I would be telling the truth, but I would be so nervous that it would look like I was lying.
Yeah. Or like you would be like, did you say laughing like out of nervousness?
No.
Oh, sorry, I just misheard you. Wait, what'd you just say? I thought you said that you'd
Selective
be
listening.
yeah, you'd be
I
like
said I would be so nervous that I would just start like I would tell the truth, but I would be so nervous it would look like I was lying.
yeah. It's like when people are like really like in a lot of pain, but they don't know how to react to it, so they just start laughing. And
Yes.
yeah, like my mom got part of her foot crushed off, and like when her like coworkers found her, like she was laughing so hard. Yeah, she was just laughing, and I was like, imagine seeing that. Like someone's like boot is just filled with blood, and then they're just like laughing like it's no big deal.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
That would be us with the police. I hope I never get interrogated because I'm just gonna, or like under pressure when you lie.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Yeah.
Like, why did I do that?
Oh, dude, when I got fired from my last job, they literally like didn't give me 2 weeks. They just like made me leave that day, like drop off and I was like, but I don't have enough money. Like they're like, go to unemployment and whatever you tell them, we will agree with. And I was like, because they didn't tell me why exactly they fired me. They just like were letting me go. And so I didn't get unemployment because I didn't want to lie to the government about, because I could, if I made up something wrong. And I didn't want to be like, government, I got fired because this, so I just never got unemployment.
Oh, I would have lied. I would have said that someone assaulted me or something.
At work? Then they would have investigated that. You got fired because you were assaulted at work? That would definitely end up in a... Wait, what?
And I complained about it. That happens all the time.
Yeah, I know. But that would like turn into like an investigation, I feel like.
I guess you're right. What's something so minor that they wouldn't investigate it? They'd just be like, all right. Too many bathroom breaks.
Yeah, just shitting every hour on the hour. You just you're using them like
company time.
Yeah. You're using them like smoke breaks.
Yeah.
There's also Twitter helped people find a stolen laptop after a Canadian web consultant named Sean Power had his laptop, cell phone, healthcare card, and 2 copies of his birth certificate. Why were you carrying 2 copies of your birth certificate?
My birth certificate. My glasses.
Both of them. Stolen.
Carrying both copies.
Yes. You know, like how in like high school, like you had like binders that you could put stuff in the front.
Yep.
The front is just his first birth certificate. Yes.
Yep.
But while he was on a trip to New York, he thought all was lost. That is until the free tracking app Prey located his laptop, took screenshots of the desktop, and turned on his camera to show him who was using it. That's a big fear of mine, that they can turn on your camera.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
In college, people used to have, I remember they used to put sticky notes over their laptop camera, and I was always like, why? Like, who cares? But then it's also like, I take my laptop everywhere, and like I have my laptop on the toilet sometimes and stuff like that. And it's like, you don't really think about, I think about more with my phone. It's like, I'm nervous if someone was watching me just because it's a bad angle.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I wish I could cover that up.
The idea, like, there was like those jokes, like my FBI agent, like spying on me. The idea of your FBI agent just like logs on and you're just like echoing farts. Like, when you're on the toilet.
I'm just like liquid diarrhea. He's like, I hate my job. Oh my God, I hate my job. I hate my job.
Mondays.
Mondays, am I right?
He gestured to the screen and you're like going through it on the computer. And he's just like
watching internet personality Sarah shower shit her pants.
Yes. Power then hopped on Twitter to send his New York followers to the bar where his laptop was being used and help bring the thief to justice. Oh, that is super nice that your followers would go for you.
That's wild.
That would be so nice if you like, if someone like threatened to fight you and I could just send a couple of you guys out there.
Yeah. Would you guys just like, could you go get it for me?
Yes.
One of your followers steals it. No, guys, please.
I send more followers not learning my lesson. And they just keep passing my laptop around.
So we want to talk about one final one, which I think is, I mean, this is an example of like, wow, the internet's crazy. There was a 19-year-old hacker that helped arrest multiple pedophiles. His name was Brad Williams. He's a keyboard cowboy. He wrote a Trojan horse program that allowed him to control any computer that was unlucky enough to download his program. After laying his trap, he spent 3 years tracking emails and cataloging child predators by degree of risk, specifically focusing on suspected child porn producers and child molesters. With his information and the help of another internet group, police were able to bring down multiple online pedophiles. That is wild. You dedicate 3 years of your life to this?
And you're
That's
19.
a true Batman.
Yeah, that's actually incredible. And that sounds like an amazing college essay. It's like, what's something that like really impacted your life? Well, I spent 3 years tracking a pedophile ring and taking them down. I'd be like,
ranking them by degree of risk and danger.
Welcome aboard. You're now a seagull. Go Gulls. But yeah,
welcome to University of Texas.
What's the University of Texas's mascot?
Longhorns.
Oh. Isn't that the actual football team?
No.
Then what are the
the NFL team?
Yeah, there's the Longhorns.
No, it's the Houston Texans.
The Longhorn Steakhouses.
the mascot, the Texas Roadhouses.
Just a big like garlic bread runs on the field.
Peanut shells over the floor.
Yes. Other stadiums. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Sorry. No, you go say what you were going to say.
The idea of their stadium just constantly being covered in like peanut shells everywhere.
One slipping, it's a big insurance risk.
They have like no fans of the like peanut allergy. They have EpiPens everywhere.
Free EpiPens.
Okay, guys. Well, that's been Crime Solved Online. Let us know if you've ever solved a crime online or
want to join an e-detective force and need a reference.
But thank you so much for listening. This has been
Violating Community Guidelines with your cousins, uncles, and counselors, Brittany and Sarah.
Yes. Make sure to like us on YouTube, subscribe, listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any place you get your podcasts.
Leave a review, leave a rating.
A 5-star.
Kiss me on the mouth.
Yes, kiss Brittany on the mouth.
Please kiss me on the mouth.
All right, thank you guys. Bye.